Hello, I'm Denis Thompson, and this is my life's trajectory. I was born in the British military hospital in Iserlohn, West Germany, the son of a Canadian soldier. We subsequently moved back to Canada, and eventually we settled in the little town of New Lowell, Ontario, which, incidentally, is the home of Miss Vicky's potato chips. I left home at 17 years of age for the Collège Militaire Royal de Saint-Jean, which, as many of you would know, is south of Montreal, and eventually graduated from the Royal Military College in Kingston with a degree in mechanical engineering. On graduation, I joined the 3rd Battalion of the Royal Canadian Regiment in Winnipeg, and we subsequently went off to Cyprus on the classic peacekeeping mission between the Turk Cypriots and the Greek Cypriots. I stayed in that same battalion and moved with them off to Germany, where I participated in the Cold War, if you will, by leading a reconnaissance platoon in the dying days of the Cold War. After the wall collapsed in 1989, NATO became a major player in robust peace support operations. I deployed with Gulf Company to RCR, the 2nd Battalion of the Royal Canadian Regiment, to Bosnia at the head of a company. This was NATO's first out-of-area mission, and I was in command of 185 men within a British cavalry regiment that was named the Queen's Royal Hussars. One of my duties was to ensure that the belligerent parties in my sector, which were the Bosnian Muslims and the Bosnian Serbs, were separated by the inter-entity boundary line and eventually settled in cantonment sites. I met Colonel Savic from the Bosnian Serb side and negotiated with him, and he had only one condition before he would go back to the cantonment sites, and that was that we looked after the granny that was in that village. And of course, she was a Serb, but she was the lone civilian in this small village where he had his headquarters. I asked Sergeant Rogers I certainly told Colonel Savage that we would do it, and I asked one of my sergeants, Sergeant Rogers, to look after him. And at one point, I used to visit her weekly. She asked me if we could paint the interior of her house. Of course, we agreed. And Sergeant Rogers took his men and they went inside the house and started moving the furniture. And at one point, he took the TV and started to walk towards his armored vehicle. And the grandmother, whose name escapes me at this moment, got quite agitated and chased him with a broom. I'll remember it to this day because it's an example of the black humor that many soldiers demonstrate.